school just announced like 2 hours ago through email that they were shutting down all of our classes.
I fell asleep in your heart, but West Coast was calling me home. So I stumbled to the door on the 14th floor.
We have here, what? So many books. I have not taken out this many library books at once in a long time. Currently it is Sunday, March 8th, the beginning of the Untitled readathon. It is, I think, like, well, I'm using my phone, so I can't check the time, but I think it's like 6:30, and I woke up like an hour and a half ago because I slept at noon. So here's the thing about me wanting to vlog this readathon. If I vlog it, people are gonna know how fucked up my sleep schedule is. So we're off to a great start. These are all of the books. Is this, I don't know how to do. I have not held up books for videos so far because like I mostly read ebooks and stuff. Do I go over all of these? This is Frankenstein. This is my copy, Octavia Butler Fledgling. Yep, it's a book. It's a book. I don't know what else to tell you. Oh, okay, so this is Not Your Sidekick. In my TBR, I had said that this was a graphic novel. It's actually not a graphic novel. It's just a straight up novel. There's just these like little illustrations at the beginning of each chapter. Here we have Beloved, Scary Stories for Young Foxes. I'm super excited about this. This looks absolutely gorgeous. I guess also not truly a graphic novel. I was wrong about like almost all of the books in my graphic novels category in my TBR. Here we have Still Life with Tornado by A.S. King. There's like a little doodly bits on the edge of like some of the pages. And then over here we have the two Witch Boy books. We have The Hidden Witch, which is the second in the series, and Midwinter Witch, which is the third. These are actually graphic novels. It's beautiful. And then the last physical copy of a book that I have right now is Gods of Jade and Shadow. This is the book that is a Mexican folklore, but set in 1920s jazz age. So the design of the book is sort of like Art Deco. My voice is, you can tell that I just woke up because of the way my voice sounds. But this is gonna bug me, and I'm gonna have to reorder them from like largest to smallest again. Okay, cool. There we go. I'm gonna go wash my hands really quick because I just touched all these public library cozy, weren't you? Oh, look at that. So it's a couple of hours later. I've been cooking. I had a phone call with a friend while I was cooking, and I also finished listening to an audiobook of The Goose Girl. So The Goose Girl is a book that I had read when I was a kid, and I realized partway through as I was listening to it this week that okay, you're gone. Bye-bye. I realized that I had misremembered The Goose Girl for the Princess Academy. The story of The Goose Girl is that there's this princess who is being married off to a prince of a neighboring kingdom, but on the way there, her lady-in-waiting betrays her and kills the other guards and takes her place as a princess. The real princess goes on the run and has to become a goose girl and a commoner. She has sort of soft magic powers to speak to animals and to the elements. What was so fascinating about reading this book was seeing how stylistically it was so different from like the genre of YA fantasy books these days, because I feel like it's become such like a major part of the market and the publishing industry, and it's got, you know, really like entrenched conventions now in terms of the cover art and the themes and just the different story elements. And this book is coming from a totally different era of fantasy, I feel. It really reminded me of books like Ella Enchanted and Gail Carson Levine, and those books that I grew up reading. It is a bit slow to start, but ultimately great. Really enjoyed it, and I think it was all that I could manage today. Now I'm gonna go do some laundry and get some work done while I do that and go to bed.
Your smile, just as I knew you would. Oh, miss you. I miss you. Darling, let it rain. I miss you. To bring that smile. Miss you. I miss you. Darling, let it rain. I miss you.
Hello, it is now 8 p.m. on Monday night. I just got home from, well, I finished work at 5, and then I went to a talk at the Institute of Fine Arts, and my friend had organized a talk with a curator that I love there, so I really admire her. That makes it seem like whatever. Anyways, I've only done a little bit of reading. I think I've read like under 30 pages of Fledgling, but honestly, like within those 20 pages, I'm already super hooked. The beginning of Fledgling, if you've ever read it, you like start right away and you're like, it's like really intense. It's about this 10 or 11-year-old girl who wakes up in the forest and does not know who she is, does not know where she is, what she is. She has total amnesia. Then you realize that she is actually a 53-year-old vampire. Like, when you start the book, it's really, really intense because she wakes up, she's like naked in the forest, and it's like can't see, and she's like covered in like wounds, and she like hunts and eats 2 deer and then buries herself in dirt. Like, a lot has happened in the last 20 pages. I don't know if I'm gonna read any more tonight because I have some assignments that I need to do, but there's been interesting developments in New York where I am. My school just announced like 2 hours ago through email that they were shutting down all of our classes and we were gonna do remote learning for the next 2 weeks because of the coronavirus. Like, I was thinking about this, and I guess in a way this is relevant to the readathon because it means that I'm not gonna be on any subways anymore. But you know, maybe we'll all just die and this video will just be the last thing I leave on this earth. So, you know, if that happens, then none of this matters. I'll check in later if I do any more reading tonight. Okay. So I'm taking an art history class this semester, and I'm trying to pick a topic for my final paper. And I'm looking at these like miniature vases, and they're so cute. And they're only 3 inches tall. Look at these. So many of them. I'm this one. This is me. Good morning. It is now Tuesday morning. I ended up going to bed pretty early last night. I woke up absurdly early and I was trying to go back to sleep, but since I was awake, I ended up reading about 100 pages of Fledgling, and oh my god, is it good. It's just electric. Octavia Butler writes in these short, pithy sentences that just, they're so straightforward, but they say so much. The plot and the world building so far has also been amazing. We're getting so much about like vampire lore in this sort of contemporary setting that's just, it's strange because it reminds me a lot of Twilight because it's set in Washington, and the protagonist, who's a vampire girl, she like bonds with this human male, and then there's these questions of like free will and stuff. Obviously this is better than Twilight. I'm just gonna say that. Anyways, I'm having a blast with this. So right now I'm just gonna eat breakfast and do my makeup, and I think today I'm gonna go to a cafe to do some work because I don't have class today.
Darling, let it rain. I miss you. To bring that smile. Miss you.
I stayed home. I did not go out. Currently cooking lunch. I'm making some pasta. I really am into procrastinating cooking. Anyways, I got a little bit of work done, and then I had a really long, very fruitful, lovely phone call with a friend. But as soon as I finished making and eating lunch, I am gonna go to a cafe, I think, and just like bang out this assignment because I just need it to be done. I think reading is gonna take a backseat. The thing is, like, I am reading. I'm just not reading for the readathon. I'm reading art history readings, which are very interesting. I will check in again later. But yeah.
Miss you. Darling, red and red. I miss you. You bring that smile.
I fell asleep in your heart, but West Coast was calling me home.
Hello, I'm coming to you now from Tuesday afternoon with this gorgeous sleepy baby. I just finished my first remote learning class, which we did on Zoom, and it went pretty well. It's pretty good. What do you think? Oh, you're so sleepy. I woke up again absurdly early in the middle of the night at like 4 a.m. All that to say, I read some more of Fledgling. I'm over halfway through now, but I think I need to take a break from it and read something else. What you doing? I do want to change of pace, so I think I'm gonna pick up one of the graphic novels maybe.
You let me let go of my fear.
It's been a couple of days. I'm not gonna talk about what's happening in the world because you already know. But because of world events, I haven't been vlogging, haven't been reading too much. But yeah, life goes on. The world keeps turning. Okay, see you tomorrow.
I bet you meet a lot of cuter boys in cuter cities, and they stay to the late a.m. like me and drink way too much tequila.
Here with a very romantic intention of recording an outro and a little wrap up for the end of this vlog in a more scenic location than my crusty apartment where I've been socially distanced for a couple of days. But the reality is it's very cold, it's very windy. I'm on a campus, not my campus, but a campus. Yeah, I've come here before when I used to live closer to this area to think, and after other all-nighter early mornings, because you can see the sunrise from here. So this reading vlog has not gone the way that I hoped it would, because of circumstances both within and outside of my control, which is the case with many a thing in life. I've been awake all night, and I left my apartment and I went for a long walk after not having left my house for about 4 days. All the while I was listening to an audiobook, The Particular Sadness of Lemon Cakes, is that the title? I listened to about half of that audiobook, which is I think over 4 hours, on 2 times speed, walking around, and also while I was getting ready. Now it's light, the sun is coming up. It's behind a building right now, so it's not shining directly on me, but I'm hoping it'll come back out because it is genuinely cold out here. It is a Monday now. I'm sure this campus is closed, as are most others, so I'm not sure how much of the footage I've taken in the past couple of days I'll end up using. I've edited most of the usable or nice footage that was normal, and all of the sort of more panicky ones I'm not sure if I'm gonna include because I don't want to add to anybody's stress. I think there's enough of that to go around. But to recap, I stopped vlogging and slowed down my reading a lot in the middle of the week just because of everything that was going on. I did a lot of cooking, which is good, and healing in its own way. I made a lot of great stuff, and spent quality time with my friend and roommate. And in the past 2 days, I've started reading. I brought out my books because I wanted props for this. So in the past couple of days, I started reading this, Not Your Sidekick. I've read half of it, and it's really good. I would say this skews young. It is YA, but it skews young. It's really quite predictable, as you know, you would expect of younger children's literature. And it's quite fluffy. I don't think it's very serious at all. The superhero, the villain world is really low stakes and quite, you know, cheesy, soapy, and nice. So I've been enjoying that. Also, I realized that on the cover, she's wearing a t-shirt, and it says, "Master Mischief was right about the cheese." I haven't gotten to the part of the book that explains what that means yet, but that's exciting. I haven't read any more. Oh, there's the sun. It's out. It's out. Oh, it's blinding. I haven't read much more Fledgling since I last talked to my phone, which is my camera, but I have finished The Hidden Witch. Very nice. I read it in one sitting. Again, another middle grade. It's fairly young, but the content, I would say, is fairly universal. It covers bullying and adolescent angst, I would say. Family trauma and intergenerational trauma. So quite heavy topics, but deals with them through the lens of fantasy and also a healthy dose of friendship, which is really nice. The sun is in my eyes, so and again, I've also been listening to The Particular Sadness of Lemon Cakes, which is so gorgeous. I think it's gonna end up being one of my favorite reads of the year. It's the perfect kind of magical realism. The basic premise of the book is that the protagonist, who is the youngest daughter of a family, she develops the ability to taste emotion in her food when she's 9 years old, and she can taste the emotions of her mother, who cooks all of the family's meals, but also the emotions of anyone else who has made any of her meals. I'm in her adolescence in the middle of the book right now. I don't know how far the book will end up, but you kind of learn about the family. Listening to this book, you just realize how incredible a metaphor food is for such complex emotions and feelings and relationships and dynamics and systems as well. It's handled incredibly well, and really it brought to its full potential, I think, just this idea, which, you know, is a hook that reels you in and then manifested incredibly gorgeously in the book itself. can't wait to finish it. I didn't mention this in any of the videos that I made talking about the readathon, but obviously I gave myself way more books than is possible to read within a span of 8 days, let alone with the other things that I've had on my plate. But I'm such a mood reader, so this was my strategy, was that I would amass a number of books that I was interested in and would want to read, if not this week, then in the upcoming weeks, and then I would just pluck from them whichever things I felt like reading in the moment, and it served me very, very well. I did want to start, if not finish, as many books as I could during the readathon itself, and I think I've achieved that. I'm going to continue to read all the books that I've started, and also get into the ones that I haven't had a chance to start in this past week. But as I wrap up here, I just wanted to invite you watching this, if you want to put in the comments, you know, how you're feeling, how you're doing right now. One of my professors, who is incredibly kind and incredibly thoughtful, left space in a student questionnaire about the upcoming weeks of, you know, how we were feeling, and just to let her know where we're at, where our head is. And as I was writing it, I just realized how incredibly therapeutic and necessary it was to give space to that kind of reflection. And in the midst of everyone thinking about, you know, what we can do for the community and what we can do for each other and how we can be there for each other, I just thought, you know, there's not much I could do for you, you specifically watching this, you, but one thing I can, I guess, make space for is to just invite you to share how you're feeling in the comment section of this video, or however you want, to me directly, to let out your feelings, feel sorry for yourself, express gratitude, express sorrow, any emotion that you're having. Feel free to leave it. I don't have that many viewers, so I will absolutely read and reply to every single one of them. And yeah, it's really windy again. But yeah, you'll see me again pretty soon. So thank you for watching, and stay safe, take care. Bye.